Alright, and I'm back with the other match, Penta versus Against All Authority. So we are live into the 2 versus 2 now. The 1 versus 1 was played between Kronos and Renew, which Kronos won with a score of 7-2, I believe. So I need to update that score, I just realized. Just give me a moment to do so. So 2-7, there we go. So that is the current score. Of course, the reason why I missed the 1 versus 1 was because the match between Easy Killer and AT Gaming was extremely close. I definitely recommend watching that match. One of the best matches in recent memory, I think. But anyways, looks like Team aAa Against All Authority wins that round, so they make it a score of 3-2. Penta with DNS and SAC are currently in the lead, trying to tie up the score at 1-1. And it's Coco and Silver who takes the lead. Of course, Kronos, they're arguably their best player, the winner of Gamers Assembly 2015 earlier this year, cannot play the 2 versus 2 to play the 1 versus 1. SAC can go up to second place, DNS behind with 40 hundreds. So right now this would be a point for Against All Authority. Could tie up the score at 3-3. Oh, that was Silver with a no drift. DNS keeps his drift and can go up to third place. Coco though at first place, still ahead of SAC. And that's gonna make it a draw. 58.87 by Coco, a really good time. Coco, who I think at least started as a Canyon player, now seems to have started playing Stadium as well and seems to be doing well. So the score is gonna stay at 3-2. Penta still with the advantage. Oh, and there goes SAC into the wall. Silver has made an even grander mistake. He's almost 3 seconds behind Coco, his teammate, who will have to try and save the day once again. Great turn there from DNS. Goes as wide as possible. Oh, and then hits the wall before the jump, making all he did prior to that in vain. So Coco takes over and can force a draw for the second round in a row. Silver still too far behind SAC. Slow speed there for Coco in the end, but 59.74 is still enough to get the draw. And so far it's DNS who has collected the most points, 30, with his best time being 58.85, followed by Coco with 24, 58.87 is his fastest time. Then we got Silver with 20, 59.18, and SAC at last place with 18 points, having set a time of 58.92. Coco ends up crashing into the wall. SAC and DNS can occupy first and second place. Silver has not been driving good at all for his team in these 3 previous rounds, including this one. So this should be a point for Penta, who could go up to map point at 4-2. SAC 1800 set of DNS. Coco 1.5 seconds behind. Silver will retire, and Penta will go up to map point. 58.89 by SAC. Great time. And also by DNS, 59.01. See if they can close it out in their first attempt. I think Silver will have to try and step it up for Against All Authority if they want to have a shot at winning this match. DNS first gets a bump and then cannot remove the no drift before the next corner, so he consequently goes into the wall. Coco in the lead instead, ahead of Sack at second place. Will have to get first to force a draw. Silver at third place. Once again a bit behind, but not with that much. Good turn there from Sack. Will overtake Coco. DNS still behind with a lot of seconds. Almost 8. It's between Coco and Sack now. Sack trying to get the draw. Great turn over the stretch. Oh, but then ends up hitting the wall over the stretch. Really weird mistake there from Sack, and he retires even knowing that the round is already lost. And Against All Authority stays alive. 4-3 now. A lot of mistakes so far, perhaps a bit nervous. Of course, you don't want to lose the first match of this tournament. You want to start off in a great way. And it's a great turn there from Coco. Goes up to first place, but not for a long time. DNS and Sack will pass him, and then Coco ends up clipping the wall in the next corner. This could be it for Penta on their way to win the 2 versus 2 and tying up the score. Again, Kronos did defeat Renew in the 1 versus 1, which I was not able to stream. DNS at first place, and here is Sack, 1300s behind him through the platform. See if Sack can avoid the wall this time. Yes, he will. DNS 2500s ahead now. Will lose a bit of speed in the last corner. Sack will allow Silver to pass him, but it's not going to be enough for Against All Authority. Penta wins the 2 versus 2 with a score of 5-3, tying up the score at 1-1. So now we will move on to Bugwet Power, I believe. If I recall correctly, that is the 3 versus 3 map. They could play the 5 versus 5 next though, it's definitely a possibility, but it seems like we will... Oh no, actually we are moving on to Fandango, which is the 3 versus 3, so I was incorrect about that. Fandango is the next map. It's made by Pain, and the world record is by Kronos, 58.104, and I would be shocked if he didn't play this sub-match for his team. And as you can see, here he is. Or no, he retired, but he is gonna drive the 3 versus 3, and that's gonna be great for Against All Authority. Coco and Silver will be his teammates. And for Penta we got Extreme, Scrappy and Swoopy. So Extreme seems to not be driving for Team Dignitas anymore. Seems to have joined Penta instead. But it's definitely a great player. See what he can do in this sub-match. Scrappy also good for Penta. Often does well in these team events. And then Swoopy, I don't know too much about, but we'll see how he will do. Let's take a look at the Deddy before we start. The players are doing a couple of warm-ups, so we know that Kronos got the best time. Then we see that Scrappy got the top 3 with a time of 58.15. Swoopy is actually a top 6, 58.20, so it seems like he is more than ready on this map. Sack is at top 14, 58.33, followed by Extreme at top 15, 58.33 as well. We also see that Papu is in the Deddy for Against All Authority, 58.42, but he is not driving in this sub-match. Instead it's gonna be... no, actually is driving, never mind. So Papu will be participating here for Against All Authority. Silver drops out. So that is definitely a good addition for Papu. I would say Papu, Kronos and Yo-Yo are perhaps the best players from Against All Authority. Yo-Yo though comes and goes in these team tournaments. Sometimes he plays, sometimes he doesn't. And it seems like he's not gonna play this match. Let's see if we'll have any more warm-ups. Yes, this is the original Papou. There's also another Papou who plays Dirt, but this is the old school tech player Papou. They are both from France as well, which makes it even more confusing, but this is the tech Papou, and then there's also a Dirt Papou. Alright, so we are going to have 2 more warm-ups, including this one. So still not going live into this 3 versus 3. Just to repeat the score, Kronos took home the 1 versus 1 for Team Against All Authority, defeated Renew with a score of 2-7. And then Penta, Sack and DNS took home the 2 versus 2, defeated Coco and Silver with a score of 5-3. So we'll have 1 more warm-up after this. Penta looking pretty good if you just base it on the warm-ups. Swoopy and Extreme setting fast times here. But of course, Kronos, such a force to be reckoned with. Always does well for his team. And yeah, of course, got even more confidence now after winning Gamers Assembly 2015. Alright, so this is gonna be the final warm-up, and then we'll start. And as we wait, just another reminder that tomorrow I will be casting Sweden versus Austria in the Stadium Nations Cup, formerly known as the Country Championship. It's the Nations tournament where we play on tech, dirt and speed, so it's a really cool format. I would actually like to see more multi-style tournaments in action. We already got a Nations one. It would be cool to see a normal one as well, where all the teams, no matter what style you mainly focus on, would participate in. I think that would be awesome for the competitive scene, so hopefully we'll see that one day. Alright, so that is going to be the last warm-up. And we are about to go live in the 3 versus 3. This is the ESL Competition Premiership 15 Group Stage Round 1. Penta versus Against All Authority. The score is 1-1. And for Penta we'll have Swoopy, Extreme and Scrappy driving. And for Against All Authority, Kronos, Coco and Papou will be playing. Alright, so here we go. Let's follow Kronos into the first corner. He will go for the inside line. Only one player, it seems, went for the outside. It was Coco. I guess the inside line is faster. Kronos takes the lead here. Might be more difficult though. Swoopy goes up to 2nd place, Extreme at 3rd, Papou and Coco following. Scrappy has dropped down to last place. Swoopy with a mistake, also Coco. Swoopy will go down to last place, Scrappy can pass him. Kronos keeping that 1st place, no surprise there. Extreme at 2nd, then Papou has gone up to 3rd place now. Seems like this could be a point for Against All Authority, but here comes Scrappy. Looking to overtake Coco, which he will as well. Entering the blue floor. Kronos still keeping 1st place, only 3,500s behind his own world record. Extreme at 2nd place, Papou at 3rd, coming up to the final corner. Coco with more speed, but Scrappy staying in front with 100 of a second. Still, it will be a red point. Kronos taking 1st with a time of 58.66. And if Penta wants to win this sub-match, I think they have to defeat Kronos trying to get that 1 versus 1. They will definitely do it now though. Kronos will actually end up crashing here in the start. Coco has also dropped down, and so has Papu for Against All Authority. Scrappy will make a blunder of his own, and it's only Swoopy and Extreme that are without any sort of faults, keeping first and second place, looking to tie up the score. Here is Extreme. Let's take a look at his rear window. Papu could still possibly catch up to Swoopy, but they will have to rely on a mistake or two from these two players, which is not gonna happen. Extreme wins at 58.79 ahead of Swoopy with 0.83. Those are the only two players under 59 seconds. Kronos at the bottom after winning the first round. It's all tied up at 1-1. And yeah, as someone mentions here in the chat, Poker will be driving for Penta now. However, he will not play the first couple of matches in the group stage, which could definitely make a difference. Poker, I would say, is one of the best tech players for sure. He's definitely in the top 5 for me. So that would have helped Penta a lot. But even without Poker, they are a great team. So we'll see how this season will develop. Kronos, though, has gone up to first place as this round continues to develop. Who's behind him? It's Scrappy at second, but then Coco and Papu are next up. Don't have Papu's hotkey. Nope. Oh, it looks like Coco dropped down as I was trying to find the hotkey. He will go down to 6th place even. Extreme and Swoopy will pass him. However, thanks to Kronos taking first with a time of 58.50 and Papu taking third. Oh no! Coco not able to get to the finish line! And it's a draw instead! That would have been a point for Against All Authority, but Coco not enough speed to make the jump. He should have gone to the right and taking the alternative route, knowing that he didn't have enough speed to take the normal one, but maybe he wasn't used to taking that other one, that other finish. So sometimes the players don't really practice taking the other finish, but I think that's really important actually. Especially if there's this kind of jump in the end, which makes you not able to finish at all if you don't make it. So maybe a bit of a blunder there from Coco, not practicing that. And he gets a bad start here in the following round as well. Score, of course, still 1-1. Kronos trying to win his second round in a row, but he got Scrappy and Swoopy right now in front of him. Oh, almost hit the wall. We'll lose additional time. Swoopy and Scrappy extending their lead coming up to the final corner. This is gonna be a point for the blue team. Scrappy wins at 58.45 ahead of Swoopy with 0.49. Kronos, Coco and Papu all setting decent times, but it's not enough. Extreme at 6th, but it's still a point for Penta. 2-1 in their favor. And Coco continues to have a bit of trouble here in the start. Actually, it's Extreme who's having an even worse start. 2 seconds behind the rest of the players. And then Papu seems to have fallen down even further. I missed that. Scrappy in the meantime takes the lead here. Seems to be on a roll. 1100s ahead of Kronos. Swoopy also doing well for Penta. Will pass Kronos here. Kronos trying to fight back though. Can go up to 2nd place, but is it too late to catch up to Scrappy? Coming up to the final corner, he will have to nail it. Ah, he does it decently, but Scrappy will stay in front with another great time, 58.49. Scrappy is right now leading his team Penta to victory. They are in the lead with 3-1. And for those unfamiliar of the format, we are playing to 7 in this sub-match. And if the score is 6-6, then we will have tennis mode, which means you have to win with 2 points. Scrappy now with a bad start. He's not gonna win it 3 rounds in a row. Is that gonna open it up for Against All Authority? At least I thought so, but this time Kronos is not at the top anymore. Instead it's Swoopy and Extreme for Penta. And they have a pretty good lead as well. 2900 ahead of Kronos, who catches up a lot in the next corner. Don't have Swoopy's hotkey. Here he is. 1800 ahead of his teammate Extreme, who in turn is 600 ahead of Papu. Kronos seems to have made a bit of a mistake. Yes, Penta Scrappy will pass him. Oh, Extreme gets a bump, but still makes a jump. Just barely, and will take that second place. I think Coco this time went to the right and will get some points. However, it's still not enough. And Penta wins their 3rd round in a row. Goes up to 4-1 now. And are only 3 points away from winning this sub-match. Kronos has actually not been as big of a factor as I thought he would be. He's only got 23 points. Well, he's only 1 point away from the most points with his Scrappy with 24. But yeah, so far not as good of a sub-match for Kronos. Takes the early lead though in the next round. Looks like Scrappy is at the bottom. Papu at 5th. Swoopy at 4th. Coco at 3rd. Extreme at 2nd. And Kronos still at 1st. Coco goes too wide. Clips the wall. Takes over that last position from Scrappy. Kronos still in the lead. Where is Papu? Here he is. Oh, he's gonna drop down in speed. All 3 Penta players will pass him. Penta looking to go up to a 1-5 lead. Or a 5-1 lead rather. Kronos is looking really good here. 3100s behind his own world record. 58.47. But it's all in vain. Scrappy, Swoopy and Extreme make sure this is a point for Penta instead. 2 points away now from winning the sub-match and going up in the lead with 3-1. Of course, the 3 versus 3 and 5 versus 5 are worth 2 points each, compared to the 1 versus 1 and 2 versus 2, which are worth 1 point each. And Coco seems to be the player that is going outside in the start. Goes up to 4th place. It's Scrappy who hits the ceiling of the checkpoint. Extreme will still remain in the top though, but then we do have the 3 Against All Authority players following him. Swoopy still doing okay for Penta. Extreme loses his speed over the platform, but so does Coco. Goes too wide for the 2nd round in a row. Cannot believe it. But his teammates Papu and Kronos though keeping 1st and 2nd place, so this would still be a red point if they can avoid blunders. Papu with the no drift before the last corner. Can he make the jump? No, he's gonna go for the other one. Oh, and Scrappy will pass him in the end, but it's still a red point though. Swoopy is at 6th place. Coco staying in front of him. And Against All Authority wins their 2nd point of this match. And now Papu with a terrible start. Swoopy with a great start for Penta. And then it's Kronos and Scrappy together with Coco and Extreme in the middle. Swoopy has been doing good so far. At least he did in the start of the match. Maybe not so much in these recent rounds. Will lose a bit of speed here in the corner. Kronos will pass him, so will Scrappy, who goes up to 2nd. And looks like Papu has retired for Against All Authority. Must have fallen out of the track. Of course, respawn is not allowed in this tournament. So unless Coco takes 2nd place here, This will be another round for Penta. Scrappy losing his grip in the downhill before the finish. Kronos wins it with a time of 58.53. But Swoopy, Extreme and Scrappy are behind him, and it's 6-2 now. Penta have reached map point. This could be the last round of this match. Kronos clips the wall and another corner as well. And that could be the nail in the coffin for Against All Authority. Coco hits the ceiling of the checkpoint as well. Scrappy goes to third place. Penta could finish it off in style, but by getting the ace. Swoopy ahead with 2300s of Extreme. And then we have Scrappy just behind. Papu is doing the best for Against All Authority, but he is a whooping 7600s behind Swoopy. And now it seems like he has retired as well for the second time. Coming up to the ending, it's Swoopy who will win it ahead of Extreme and Scrappy. Penta wins the 3 vs 3 with a score of 7-2 and takes the lead in the match with 3-1. So I'm just gonna update the score. There we go. Alright, so we are moving on to the last sub-match, which is the 5 vs 5. And this is played on Youngster Joey, made by MC Java. The world record is 53.88 by Flyer. Let's see who will drive for the teams. Seems like the lineups are already set. It's gonna be Extreme, Swoopy, Miquattro, Snakey and Renew driving for Penta. So Miquattro and Snakey will play for the first time. For Against All Authority, oh never mind, Snakey is on the wrong side of the graphics here, so he will of course play for Against All Authority together with Coco, Asper, Kronos and Silver. Asper will step in. So Yoduki will be the final player for Penta, and apparently he's driving with a broken hip. That cannot be good. At least you don't really need it though for Trackmania, so could be worse. Alright, so yeah, we are going to see a couple of warm-ups. Let's take a look at the Deddy in the meantime. So we see that Swoopy again got the fastest time for Penta, 53.85. Kronos then at top 13, 53.90. And those are the only two players from these two teams that are in the top 30 in the Deddy Mania. So that is kind of interesting actually. I would have expected at least Penta to have many more players represented here, but that doesn't seem to be the case. And only Kronos in the Deddy, and he usually got the, like, if not the fastest time, then at least like the second or third fastest time, and he's only at 11th, no, excuse me, 13th place in the Deddy, so that is a bit interesting. So we'll have one more warm-up after this, it seems. So yeah, based on that, it's really hard to call it. We'll see how trained these players are. Of course, the top 30 is not it's not a piece of cake to get into the top 30, especially not in the first week when everyone is playing a lot, training a lot. But still, I would have expected a bit more players in the Deddy. Alright, so we'll have one final warm-up and then we'll continue this match. And just to repeat the score, Kronos won the 1 vs 1, defeated Renew with a score of 2-7. Then PENTA won the 2 vs 2 with a score of 5-3 to tie up the score. And then most recently we saw the 3 vs 3 where PENTA dominated and took it home with a score of 7-2. So Against All Authority will have to win this 5 vs 5 to get the draw. And apparently all the PENTA players have all times under 54 seconds. It's just that they are just outside of the top 30, so it seems like they are trained on this map. We'll see if Against All Authority are also trained. Kronos is of course trained for sure, and judging by this round, then they are definitely trained. 4 players with low 54 times, and I think that is pretty good consistently. You might see on occasion a time under 54 seconds, but mainly it's gonna be low 54 times. That will give you the most amount of points. That's gonna be the end of the warm-ups. We are starting this last sub-match of the ESL Competition Premiership 15 group stage match between PENTA and Against All Authority. And the reason why I'm not showing the team scores all the time is because they are covering the cars. I don't really like that. But I will try to look at the team scores a bit more often to keep you guys updated about that. Looks like Swoopy did the first mistake. No, it wasn't. What? Okay, we're gonna force the end of the round. So seems like someone had trouble starting. Okay. Now we might go live, although Snakey says his pad is having some problems. Is he playing though? Yes, he is. Okay, so I guess we are live now into the first round. And it's Miquatro who takes the lead, losing a bit of speed though in the next corner. And a ton of players will pass him. In fact, all the players will pass him. Miquatro down to 10th place. It's a close round. Kronos up in the lead ahead of Jodoki. Then we have Coco, Asper and Silver for Against All Authority, which would make it a red point coming up to the last corners. Kronos still 1800 ahead of Swoopy. This is looking really good for the red team. Here's the last corner. 53.91 by Kronos. That's a great time. Would be enough to be in the Deddy even. And only 1100s or 1000s, 7000s behind the world record. Impressive to say the least. And Against All Authority will take home the first point. And yeah, the score is 3-1 because the 3 vs 3 and 5 vs 5 are worth 2 points each in this tournament. So that's why the score is 3-1. If Against All Authority wins this one, they will tie it up at 3-3, and that would be the final score as well. Kronos once again in the lead, ahead of Coco, Extreme, Silver and Miquatro. Lots of red players in the top. Only Snakey has fallen down. Jodoki is at 10th place, far behind the rest. Renew and Swoopy not doing that good either for PENTA. Miquatro will end up getting a landing bug, I believe, in that small downhill. Oh, Silver goes a bit too wide. Swoopy and Snakey, also Jodoki and Miquatro will all pass him. Kronos will take first place with a time of 54.19, followed by PENTA and Extreme, then Asper, Swoopy, Snakey, Miquatro, Jodoki, Silver and Coco is not going to be able to finish this round. And that's going to make it the blue point. PENTA will tie it up. It still would have been a pointer for PENTA. This round score was 30-24. But yeah, Kronos has won the 2 first rounds. got 20 points for his team and set that 53.91 time in his first attempt. Let's see if he can make it 3 rounds in a row now. Gets a decent start. Silver though gets a bump, hits the wall. Renew will pass him. Silver down to the very bottom. miQuattro, Extreme and Joduki all in front of Kronos. And so is Coco, and then miQuattro drives over the border. And he will lose all his speed as a result. Goes down a lot in the rankings. Kronos goes up in the lead over the grass, ahead of Joduki, Coco and Swoopy. Can he get it again? Coming up to the final corner. Yes, Kronos with his 3rd round in a row. 54.13 this time, ahead of Joduki and Swoopy. And then we got Coco, Aswer and Snakey following, and that's gonna make it a red point. Renew also retiring for Penta. It's 1-2. Kronos with a perfect score, 30 points for his team. And I think he will have to keep up that performance if he wants his team to win. See who that was. It was Swoopy for Penta. Puts himself at 10th place. Extreme keeping the lead for Penta. But not anymore. Aswer instead goes up in the league, gets the smallest bump. Kronos and Joduki will pass him. Also miQuattro goes up to 3rd place. Joduki now with the landing bug. That is really unlucky. In the top we got, oh, that was Aswer 4 against All Authority. Kronos will win his 4th round in a row. But because Aswer had that late crash, this will be a blue point. Penta wins it with a round score of 28-27, really close. So yeah, had Aswer stayed on the road, that would have definitely been a point for against All Authority, and they would have gone up in the lead with 1-3, but instead the score is now all tied up at 2-2. Snakey with the worst start will pass his teammate Aswer for a moment. Extreme has also lost a couple of positions. Looking at the top, we got Swoopy and miQuattro for Penta, followed by Kronos and Coco. Swoopy has been a bit of a surprise for me in this match. He's really been doing well. Continues to do well in this match as well. miQuattro trying to take that 1st place from Kronos, who wants to win for the 5th round in a row. Great exit again here at the blue floor for Kronos. That seems to be where he does it better than anyone else. But he will lose a bit of speed here in the before the last corner. And Swoopy will take 1st place instead. 54.10. Finally defeating Kronos. And that's gonna make it a blue point as well. With a round score of 30-25. Penta in the lead with 3-2. Yeah, sometimes it's hard to talk for like 2 hours straight. Alright, next round, the 7th one. We see Kronos in the top 4 against All Authority, but not that many of his teammates are close to him. Coco will end up hitting the wall. Extreme and Joduki with the broken hip will all pass him. Kronos is so alone right now in the top. miQuattro, Extreme and Joduki for Penta are behind him. So it's not gonna matter if Kronos wins. For the 4th time, 54.10, another really good time by Kronos. But miQuattro, Extreme and Joduki with low 54 times. And that is good enough to win the 2nd round in a row. 4-2 now for Penta. And let's take a look at the team scores again. So Kronos with 59 points, only 1 point away from a perfect score right now. Swoopy at 2nd with 41. miQuattro at 3rd with 39. Coco with 31 points. Extreme with 30. Renew with 29, Aswer with 27, Joduki with 27 as well, and so does Silver. Only Snaky is a bit behind the others with 18 points. So if Silver can... oh, we see Kronos going too much up on the quarter pipe. Will end up losing his grip. So this is going to be costly for Against All Authority, I think. Miquattro, Renew and Extreme taking first, second and third place. No landing bugs this time. Silver and Coco trying their best to catch up, but it's not enough. Renew wins it ahead of Extreme and Miquattro. Great times from all three of them. And Kronos only taking 2 points in this round. (5-2) now in the lead for Penta. 2 points away from winning this sub-match. And with that, winning the match with a score of 5-1. Kronos with a bad start again. I guess he didn't have a bad start in the previous round, but... oh, and that was another red player, it seems. It was Aswer for Against All Authority. Snaky at 8th place. This is not looking good for Against All Authority. They started off this match well. I thought they played pretty promising in the warm-up as well. But now it's all about Penta. Swoopy with the lead ahead of Joduki. Goes a bit too wide there. Coco can sneak up and pass him. But a second place will not do much for Against All Authority. Penta wins it again. Pretty close round though. 29-26 round score. 6-2. Penta with the map point. And the match point as well. Alright, so this could be the last round of the evening. If Penta can keep it together. Swoopy with a great start. Got 52 points, only Kronos is in front of him with 68. But this time it's not enough. That Kronos is driving his usual great self. That didn't even make sense. Goes up to second place, Swoopy still in lead. Here comes Joduki and Extreme. Snaky and Asper 9th and 10th place for Against All Authority. This might be it. Here is Extreme at 4th place. They are surrounding Kronos right now. Joduki will end up dropping down. Will that make a difference? Coco and Silver will pass him. Ah, will this be a red point? Ah, Snaky doesn't make the finish, and I think that will make it a blue point. Penta wins the 5 vs 5 with a score of 7-2. To summarize the result, the 1 vs 1 was won by Kronos against Renew 7-2. Then Penta won the 2 vs 2, 5-3. And also the 3 vs 3, 7-2. And then also 7-2 was the score on the 5 vs 5. So that's gonna be the end of the match. Thanks everyone for watching. Again, I'll be back tomorrow with Sweden versus Austria in the Stadium Nations Cup, starting at 8 PM CEST. But for now, I'll take a rest. So thanks everyone for watching. See ya!